Now going to start solving equations that look like this. The square root of x minus 4 minus 2 equals 6. Okay, now here's the idea. How do you undo a square root? This is not a trick question. How do you undo a square root?
Making everything giving it a
How do you undo a square root? You square it.
square, yes.
How do you undo squared? You take the square root. So we are going to get the square root by itself and then square both sides. Now, before we do that, let me show you what you want to do. This is wrong. Don't write it, just watch. All eyes up here, stop writing. All eyes up here, pencils down. This is wrong, put it down. You are not going to build this muscle memory. You are not going to, like, this is horrible. Watch. Keep watching. This is what you want to do. This is wrong. This is very wrong. You know it's very wrong because on these problems, I'm going to force you to check your work. And you're going to plug in that 44. And you're going to see that the square root of 40 minus 2 definitely does not equal 6. Okay? Wrong, 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 wrong. Do you like to be wrong? Because that's how to do it. Now, why is that wrong? Because 1 plus 2 equals 3. Is it true that 1 squared plus 2 squared equals 3 squared?
No.
Absolutely not. Never. Never has this been true. Never has this been a thing that you're allowed to do, and you will not do it this time. Actually, I would be willing to say that many of you will do it this way. And then I will get frustrated, and I'll be like, ah! And then markers will break, and we will move on with life. Do not do it this way. What are you allowed to do, though? Because we do have to square something. Well, if you are going to square, you have to square the entire side. So let's go back to our simple example here. Is this true?
Yes. Yeah.
That's true. So if you're going to square something, you have to square your writing. Hey, whoa, 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 no writing. Okay, now you can start writing. If you're going to square something, you have to square the whole side. Now, if I square this whole side now, it's going to be horrible. Because here's what happens. I am multiplying the square root of x minus 4. This is still not worth writing, by the way. Times the square root of x minus 4 minus 2 equals 6 squared. So you have the square root times the square root, which equals x minus 4. You have that times negative 2. You have this times negative 2.
Oh no.
Plus 4 equals 36. Did I get rid of the square root?
No.
No, it's still there. I made more work for myself. Here's the proper way to do it. You may now begin taking notes. Your first step is to get the square root by itself. How am I going to do that? I'm going to move the 2 away. Now I'm going to square both sides. When you take a square root squared, it undoes each other, and you're left with whatever's inside. Do not use a calculator.
Oh, no, I'm just getting it out for when I do.
Then, x equals 68. I must stop you. You might feel like you want to circle it and be done. But anytime you square both sides, you must check your answer. This is required. You will lose points if you do not. How do we check our answer? We're going to plug it back into the original. I'm going to put a question mark here because I don't know if it equals 6. But I'm going to find out. What's 64 minus 8?
64.
Did I say 64 minus 8?
Yeah.
I did, didn't I? So is the square root of 64 minus 2 equal to 6?
Yes.
Square root of 64 is 8. Minus 2 is 8. Minus 2 is 6. 6 equals 6. So that's good. Now, after I've checked, I can say that that's the answer. Now, why did I require you to check?
Because we're
Mom?
humans and we make mistakes.
No.
No.
Observe this problem. Okay? What does x equal?
Negative 2.
Okay. Now I'm going to square both sides.
No.
Now I'm going to take the square root. Remember, anytime you take a square root, you need a plus minus, right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
No.
No. So when you square both sides, you are potentially adding an extra solution that is invalid. So you can do all this work, you can square both sides correctly, you can get an answer, and that answer might be totally trash. Just wrong. It's absolutely wrong. It's not wrong because of anything that you did. It's wrong because when you square both sides, you may add an extra term or an extra solution. Here, one of these solutions is correct. X equals negative 2 is totally what I started with. X equals positive 2, no good. So I would write my answer as x equals negative 2 because I checked them and only one of them is right. That's okay. So doing this process, by no fault of your own, you may get a wrong answer. In which case, you will have to plug it in every time and check just to make sure. So let's try one where it doesn't work, so you will believe me that it is possible. First step, sir.
Subtract 2 from both sides.
Excellent. I want to get the square root by itself, so I'm going to subtract 2. That leaves me with the square root of x plus 4 equals negative 9. Now, from this point, we can tell that our solution is not going to work. Why? Because when you take the square root of something, you always get a positive number. It's never going to equal the negative. So I know it's not going to work. But let's suppose I didn't notice. I wasn't thinking it through. I'm just going to keep going. Next step.
Square both sides.
Square both sides. So left side is?
Left side, x plus 4.
Right side?
81.
Vic?
Negative 9.
Squared is?
Oh, squared. Oh, so negative 81.
Positive 81. Because you have two
Positive.
minus signs, so it'll be positive. Okay? Now, check this out. Anna, next up. So I want x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 4. And I get that my answer, beautiful answer, I did all the steps right. Oh wait, I have to plug it in and check. You already know it's not going to work because I told you it's not. Ty, chill out. I told you it wasn't going to work. But let's plug it in and check. Square root of 77 plus 4 is
81.
81. Okay, that's fine. So this is the square root of 81, which is 9, plus 2. Does that equal negative 7?
No.
No. So this solution, which is the only solution I could possibly find, is invalid. And thus, my answer is there is no solution. This is an unsolvable problem. There is no such x such that the square root of x plus 4 plus 2 is negative 7.
Is this no answer
It
correct?
will never equal -7. Ever. Yeah. Are we bothered by that?
Yes.
Not
Very-
really.
very much
I mean, really, if you were to graph this, you'll see that never equals -7. That's fine. There's math problems where there's no solution to it. Okay. You move on with life. Question.
No, I wrote down the wrong number, so I thought the calculations were off.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. So that's it. So you can either get a solution where when you plug it back in, it works perfectly, or no solution, you plug it back in, it doesn't work, you go, no solution.
If we, so, you know, by the second step,
Oh, excuse me, there was a question here. Gentlemen. What's up?
so, you know, by the second step, you already identified that there was gonna be no solution.
Mhm.
Could we just write no solution, or do we have to solve it all?
Sure. Be careful though,
Because there might.
you might mess up.
Yeah.
So I would just solve it and then find no solution.
Okay.
Cool. That's it. Please